Hi, guys. Welcome back to my podcast. It has been a minute. I have no explanation. Oh, no, I have an explanation, but the honest truth of why I took basically another hiatus was because I was busy. I was focusing on videos, some YouTube videos that I was trying to create. And then I kind of got overwhelmed with all the thoughts, with all the ideas I had. So I ended up doing nothing. And I kind of was also feeling uninspired with my podcast because I felt like the topics I wanted to talk about, I couldn't talk about to the full extent that I wanted to, but also I didn't know how to basically talk about them in a way that was educational but also not insensitive. So I just didn't film or post anything for the past few months. I did have one podcast episode about a novel that I read, Beach Read. Like I filmed it, but I did not touch it. I didn't edit it at all. And I was gonna upload it, but then I just ended up not doing that. So yeah, that's why I've been gone for the past few months, but I'm back. Now, I never, like, whenever I go on a hiatus on my podcast, it's just, I'm just busy and I'll come back within a few months. Like, it's not like a permanent, like, I'm not doing this podcast anymore. Like, I'm done with the podcast. Like, to be honest, I don't think I'll ever be done with the podcast unless I verbally say, you know what, I think I'm gonna retire. Like, I haven't even had the podcast for 2 years. I haven't even reached 50 episodes yet. Like, what am I retiring from? Like, also another thing to bring up. I have a tiny mic. I still have the mic. Like, I still have my regular mic. It's right here. But I just bought the small one for when I do videos where I'm like either cooking videos or like videos that I can't really have a mic to my mouth because it's kind of weird to have a mic to my mouth, even though I'm literally holding this mic. It's a lavalier. And if you don't know what a lavalier is, basically the improper way for me to explain it is just like a mini microphone that you can attach to your shirt. And I can do that. I can attach it, but I'm not going to because I'm kind of too lazy to do that right now. But I can attach it to my shirt. And I recently bought this because I was filming a video last week. I was filming the my experience. No, that's the video for me today. I was filming living with my parents at 23. And there was a portion where I had to cook dinner. I had to cook dinner again today. I filmed this last week Friday. Last week Wednesday. Today's Wednesday. I filmed that video last week and I was cooking. Now I'm cooking again. Anyway, so yeah, I was cooking, but I couldn't really talk because the mic, I had to hold the mic while like doing stuff. So if I have a lavalier, I could just hook it to my shirt and then I can talk with good audio while being able to cook and all that stuff. And like the only con with lavaliers is that when it's on your shirt, you can hear everything. So if they move the shirt too much, you can hear the ruffles, you can hear it, and it could take some fine tuned editing to like edit that out without making the audio too like bad and janky. But yeah, that's the only con that I personally see with lavaliers. Other than that, I feel like it's great. And also, I've been seeing a lot more people with like tiny mics. And honestly, holding a tiny mic is very cute. Like, I love this. With that 5 minute introduction, let's get started in today's topic. So, it is now June. Today that I'm filming this video, it is June 29th. I'm probably going to post this hopefully by next week. Hopefully before July freaking 10th. I don't know. 2 weeks ago, about 2 weeks and a day ago, so 15 days ago, I went to see Wallows, which is my second favorite artist of like all time. Like, I love Wallows a lot. And I got to see them in person at a concert June 14th. But not only did I get to see them live, I also got to like basically I had pit seats. So if you don't know what pit seats are, they're basically the GA general admission seats where basically it's not you sitting, you're standing. So you're basically standing in the floor area. And I was in Terminal 5. So I might put pictures up of Terminal 5 and now you can just Google them. But Terminal 5 I was on the floor. So basically it's first come, first serve. Like the earlier you get there and get a spot, the earlier you'll be able to have front row access to seeing the band live. So that's what I got. When I saw that Wallows was on tour, I texted my friend, my concert buddy, and I was like, hey, Wallows is having a concert. And she also loves Wallows just as much as I do. So we were like, we have to go, and we got the tickets and we were cool. And I think these were the cheapest tickets we got this year, and we got the closest seats. So that's crazy. But anyway, so we went to this concert, Wallows, and boy, I was so once we got the tickets, I was so excited. Like I was waiting for this concert for months. Like ever since I bought the ticket, I was like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna see them in concert live. Like I'm gonna see them, they gonna see me see them, and I'm like in awe, in shock, in disbelief. But boy oh boy, I have a story to tell. Like I feel like the first time I saw AJR, I made a video about it. If you want to go watch that, you can. I'll look it up somewhere. But the first time I saw AJR, I had a story to tell because the people there were wild. And I wasn't even in the front. I was in the top. I was in the nosebleed seats with AJR, and I still have stories to tell. But this time, I have more stories to tell, and it's just more funny. But yeah, so let's get right into it. So, the concert was at Terminal 5, like I said, and the concert started at 8. But then it got pushed back to, I think, starting at like 8:05 or something like that. I don't know, it got pushed back a few minutes, but Wallows wasn't performing until 9:05. And I know because when we got in, I saw a sign that said Wallows at 9:05, and their opener, I think, at like 8:30 or 8 something. 8 something, basically. So, the concert was basically, when I bought my ticket, it says the concert starts at 8. Now, the doors, I think, open at 7. But since we knew we had GA seats, we knew we had to get there early. So my friend was thinking, let's get there at like 5 so that we can like go there and like stand and get the closest seats possible. And I'm like, yeah, we're going to have to go there really early. So we're thinking, if I get there at 5 o'clock, that's 3 hours before the concert starts, 2 hours before the doors open. That'll be enough time. We'll be able to get front row seats. Like we'll be right there. Like if I reach my hand up to them, they could give me a high five. Like I truly believed I was going to be that close to them. So we get to the place. We get there at like 4:30. So we get there even earlier than we planned because we left around like 3. And my friend was like, oh, so should we leave at 2? And I was like, 2 o'clock's kind of early. Let's leave at 3. And she's like, okay. I wish we left at 2 because we got there at 4:30, right? It took us about an hour to get there. And why was there a line? There was like, I feel like at least 70 people. Like there was a line of people. People had blankets. It felt like they camped out there overnight to get these front row seats. So there was a bunch of people. I feel like at least 70 people waiting in line. And then me and my friend were like, why is there so many people here? So we had to go basically all the way to the back. All the way to the back to wait. So this is 4:30, right? So now we realize the doors won't open for us to go in until 7 p.m. So we had to stand for 2.5 hours just to get in the venue, to then stand longer. So we were there at 4:30, right? And we're like, okay, we're going to have to just stand, whatever, it's fine. Then we find out there's 2 different lines. There's one line for VIP access, and there's one line for the GA. So then we end up being on GA. Like, we saw people that, oh, this is VIP, this is GA, so we just went to the GA. So we're fine. We're on the line. We're doing good. VIP gets early access, so they got to go in, I think, at like 5. So we were just like, next time we're getting VIP because the fact that we had to be here for like 2.5 hours waiting to just get inside, treacherous. But anyway, so we get there. We're there, we're waiting, right? So now there's more people coming, like literally like I think a minute or 2 after, there's more people coming, a bunch of people coming, and then there was like more people behind us, right? So the first thing that happened was there was this guy. There was this guy that had like the carts, the carts where they sell like hot dogs, like donuts and coffee. So he had one of those stands. He had a food stand. So the area where Terminal 5 is, it's kind of like in a way a garage, like right next to it. And it's just like under like a bridge or something. So basically it's just like, it's really empty unless there's something happening at Terminal 5, right? So there's this guy walking with his food stand. He's pushing the food truck and he's pushing it on the sidewalk, which was dumb because there was a bunch of people. Okay. We had to deal with a series of events, but we're all good now. It's also gotten very windy, so if you hear the wind, just ignore it. It's a very breezy day today. Cool. I love when the ambulance has to come save someone's life. Hope that person's well. The sun, it is like hours later since I filmed the first few clips, but we're gonna move on with the story. He's basically in a way, like this is a little gap between the early access line and the GA line, so he goes through there. For some reason, I don't know what this man was doing, but he was like basically, he was kind of pulling the cart, I think, behind him, so like he was in front of the cart pulling it, and then for some reason he he just let it go. Like he just let it go. And I don't know what he was doing, if he was looking for something or, well, actually, was he behind the cart? I don't know, but whether he was in front or behind, the whole point is he let the cart go and the cart just started rolling. And it wasn't rolling fast, like it wasn't like speeding down the sidewalk or anything, but like it was rolling regardless. And it was there was people behind him. Now, like I said, we got there at 4:30, and the doors didn't open till 7. And there's people that were in the front. They had blankets to like basically sit down and be comfortable, not get their outfits dirty. So we in the back. No one like there was this group of people that had like I think a clear raincoat that they were sitting on. So they was sitting on that to like not have to stand up for 2.5 hours while waiting on this line. And the cart was rolling towards them, and it was the slowest way possible too. Like it was kind of slow, but like the guy was like, I don't know, I really don't know what he was doing. I think he was trying to look for something, or he thought the cart was stopped maybe, because then he let it go and it was just rolling. And then it was like he noticed that it was rolling and he was trying to catch it or like stop it. And there was this girl there was this girl that was just sitting there, and the cart was like kind of rolling towards her, and it was like a millisecond away from literally running her over. And everyone was just looking like it was the most mind-boggling thing, because it's not like worst case scenario, if it truly did run her over, she wouldn't have died. It wasn't life threatening. But like the fact that it happened, like he was just rolling it up the sidewalk. He was behind the cart. Sorry, he wasn't in front of me. He was behind it because he was pushing it this way. So he was behind the cart pushing it, and then he just let it go, and it started rolling. And I'm guessing the momentum of the cart and how heavy it is got like the best of him, and he wasn't able to stop it. So then the cart was like borderline. It was so close to running that girl's like foot or like her over in general, and she was just sitting there like. And you're probably wondering, why didn't she move? There wasn't really much space for her to move. Also, the car was moving so slow to where it was like, why wasn't he able to stop it? So it was just like everyone was just watching it happen. Like, she's not gonna die. Like, if it was life threatening, obviously people would have saved her. But like, we were just all in awe. Like, what just happened? And then the guy's like, oh, sorry, sorry. And she's like, I think she said it's okay. I'm not sure, but I just know if that was me, I would have been kind of pissed, or like I would have to like. I think because here's the thing, her friend group was moving over to like not get hit, but again, there's 70 people on the sidewalk, so there wasn't really much space to begin with, and then for him to push the cart between the smallest space of people, a big cart of food, like he should have done it on the side on the street, because there weren't that many cars. Like we weren't on a busy street, so like cars could come by us, but it wasn't busy to where it was unsafe for him to be on the street with a cart, a food cart. Like, come on. So then he basically did that. He was like, "Oh, I'm sorry." And then I think the girl said, "Okay, I'm not sure." But then after that, he went on the street and decided to roll the cart again. But then he passed us and he did on the street, so it was fine. So that was the first thing that happened, and me and my friend were just like, "What the heck was that?" Like it was just so funny. So then the experience of just standing there. I have never been to a concert that early before to like get, because I've never had GA seats. Well, I never bought GA seats. That was my first concert that I bought pit tickets for. For AJR, I did also see. I didn't make a video about it, but I did go to 2 concerts in May. I saw Rex and I saw AJR. Now, if you don't know me, you wouldn't know. AJR is my favorite band. They're my favorite artist of all time. I talk about them a lot. I love them. I love them so much, and I went to see them again in May. It was my second time seeing them, but with that concert, I did have regular seats, but by the grace of God, my friend, one of the girls I was going with, their cousin had extra seats for us to be on the pit on the floor, and then she was like, "Do you want to go?" And I was like, I would be dumb to say no. Of course, I want to be on the floor. And it was really nice. Because this was my first time being at a concert early, we didn't think that we would be standing for this long. Like, I knew the doors didn't open until later, but then once we got there, I fully processed that we're going to have to stand outside until 7 p.m. to when they open the doors for us to go in. And I was like, damn. And mind you, neither one of us really ate anything. I had a granola bar. I literally had a single granola bar and like maybe a sip of coffee, and maybe a sip of water, 1 or 2 sips. So on the way there, my friend was already getting slightly dehydrated because when we got off the train, and then we could take a bus there, but we couldn't find the bus, so we was able. It was like a 12-minute walk. It was just basically just walking down a bunch of streets, and it was like just straight and a turn, and we were there. So like we'll just walk it. It's fine. So we walked for 12 minutes. It wasn't that bad. When we were in the sun, it was bad. Then when we got in the shade, it was fine. So from that walk, she was already feeling like lightheaded and dehydrated, but I was fine because I had a sip of something, and my like it wasn't an irrational fear. It was more of a fear of I in pits. It's common for people to pass out. And I was like, what if I'm that person that passes out? And there were times when I was in the pit, I did have that feeling and I was really scared. I was like, I don't want to pass out. I've also never passed out, but I have several times when I came close to it. Extreme lightheadedness where I'm like, if I don't lay down right now, I'm genuinely going to pass out. And I have a fear of passing out, I think, because I really hate the thought of passing out or throwing up. Anyway, this is not a fear episode. But anyway, um so basically, the whole point to say of that was we had to stand outside for 2.5 hours, and my friend was already feeling lightheaded from just the walk going there. So then we're standing. Both of us don't have really food in our system, so we have low energy. We're running on adrenaline and fumes right now, and we see people coming in with food because they know that we're gonna be on this line for 2.5 hours. So they went to buy food. They came buying food. Some people like they have friend groups, so some would leave and come back with food, and the food cart guy. And I usually food carts they don't accept cards. So then I was thinking, oh snap, I can't even buy food from him because he can't take cards. He only have cash. Did I bother to ask him? I never asked. So just shut up about it if you're gonna shut up. So I had that assumption like, oh, food carts usually they never take cards. So they always take cash. So I don't have cash on me. So I can't even buy like something to eat or a snack or like a drink if I wanted to. So I'm gonna have to wait till I get inside. I had the mindset that when I get inside, I'll buy something so that I won't pass out because I'm not trying to pass out at this concert and then miss it. I would literally be mad at myself for like a week straight if I had passed out and I missed the concert. I'll be mad at myself. So that's why I was like, I cannot pass out. I'm gonna be mad if I do. So anyway, so we're standing outside, waiting for 2.5 hours. My friend's she felt better when we were in the shade, it was fine. But then the longer we were standing, I was starting to like have waves of lightheadedness, and I was like, But like it was like 1 or 2 times, and then I was fine. But then my legs were tired because we were standing. So then we decided to sit down. And like sometimes I don't care about sitting on the floor. Like whatever. I remember in high school whenever I would go to games, like I played volleyball, and whenever we came home from games, me and my best friend we would just get our duffel bags and just sit. We would take the train home and we'll just sit. We'll like if there was no seat, we'll put our duffel bags on the floor and just sit down. But we're like we don't care. We're tired. We're exhausted, and we're gonna make a sea of our own. And it worked. And like not everyone did it. Like most people just setting up. We're like we don't care. We're gonna sit down. So we sat down. So basically, I was kind of prepared to do that, but then my friend had a little bag that she let me sit on because I had shorts on and she didn't. So she was like, "Oh, you can sit on my bag," and I was like, "Oh, are you sure?" She was like, "Yeah." So I was like, "Okay, thanks." So the lighting just changed dramatically, and I don't know if that made the lighting bad. It's not really that bad, but is that better? I don't know. Anyway, I'm gonna keep going. So we're sitting outside, waiting, and then we sit down. And there's these two girls in front of us that they also they sat down like I think 5-10 minutes before us, and then we sat down. So then we sit down, but then one of the girls that was in front of us, because everyone was like, usually concert people dress really nice. So there was this girl that had on like a nice outfit, and she stood up and she had so much dirt on her pants. And she was like, "Oh my gosh, is it bad?" And her friend was like, "Yeah, it's bad. It's bad, babes." And then she tried to dust it off, and it was off, but like you can tell she had dirt on her pants. So then Angelica was like, "Oh no," because I just said her name, and it's fine. So she was like, because my friend didn't sit down. She sat down with her like just bare, like just like the girl in front of us. So she was like, "Oh no, now I'm gonna have a mud on." Like it kind of looked like it was dried mud on the girl's pants. So then my friend got up and she was like, "Oh my gosh, like, is it gonna be on me?" So then I was like, "Oh, I don't know. We'll find out when we get up." So we sat down for like 10, 20 more minutes. And then I'm scrolling on my phone. We're like watching TikToks on my phone. And I was also having to like do work. So like I had to like send emails and like I was in group chats. And it was like I was literally waiting online for a concert while also doing like business work. And I'm like, this is the life. Anyway, so we eventually got up, and then I saw that my friend's pants were dirty. And then she was like, "Is it bad?" And I was like, "It wasn't that bad," because the girl in front of us, her pants were like kind of white, like a cream, like they were color pants. Like they were light pants, so like you can kind of tell that there was dirt on there. But my friend had like dark blue jeans, so she was fine. Like it wasn't as noticeable unless you're literally staring at her butt. Which if you are, that's weird. But also you wouldn't be doing that because we're gonna be in the pit, so you can't stare at anyone. You can't. The only thing you'll be staring at is people's heads. That's it. So I was like, no, girl, you're fine. Like, it is there, but, like, you can't really tell unless you're staring at someone's butt. And if they're staring at your butt, that's weird. So we just move past it. So then we move on. And then the closer it's getting to 7 o'clock, the tighter the line is starting to get. And we move up a little by little, we move up. And we finally go. And we finally they're basically doing bag check. They do not a bag check. Well, they're checking our bags to make sure we have nothing like sharp or anything in there. And then like going through the security line. And the line that we ended up choosing, because we were going to get on, we were just going with the motions, right? And then this one guy was like, oh, go this way. So then we went that way, but then we saw that someone said, oh, they don't take bags on this line. Like if you have a bag, you get sent to another line. So then my friend was like, oh, this is a line. This is a no bag line. So I'm like, oh. So then we saw this other line and we just went to that other line, and then people behind us just went in front of us. And then I checked the line as the line was going. That was the fastest line. And then I'm looking, I'm like, there's people with bags on that line. You said that was a no bag line. And she was like, someone said that it was a no bag line. Mind you, we both deal with like social awkwardness. That's what I'm gonna call it. Social awkwardness. We both have it bad. So like, you know, two socially awkward people being outside in the world, like, it's chaotic sometimes, but it's funny. But anyway, so then we're like, oh, so then my friend's like, should we go back on the line? I'm like, no, because then we're going to be skipping other people. And I'd be mad if someone tried to skip me on this line. So I was like, we just took the L. So then the line that we got on was so slow because there was a girl literally patting us down to make sure we had nothing on us. And I think that was meant to be a line for people that didn't have bags to just pat them down. But there was people with and without bags on this line. So this girl was taking her sweet time patting us well, not her sweet time, but because that was the only line that was getting patted down, it was taking much longer than the other lines. Because the other line, there was like 3 lines. The line that we got out of was the zoom in, was like basically the lines in the supermarket where there's like the limit, the speed. I don't even know what it's called. The lines where it's like it's meant to be quick because you only have like 15 items. That was this line. This was a 15 items or less line. We got on the line where people can buy food for their families of 12, and that's why it's going so slow. And then the third line was like the people that are buying for a family of 4. And then we were on the slowest line. And then I'm just looking at her, my friend, like, this is your fault. Like, we got on this line because you said something. And if we would stay on that line, we would have been in there already. So we just waited. It didn't take that long, but the fact that this line was moving so slow, we were like, bruh. And then I looked, and it was because we were being patted down. So we got patted down. We went in. Everything was fine. Before we went in, we noticed that I think because the venue, they have drinks where you can, like, you know, obviously buy alcohol. They had to check our IDs. And basically to see if you're 21. If you're 21, you got a blue wristband. And if you weren't 21, you got an X. Now, I didn't know that's why they were doing this. They just said, check your ID. They said, okay, let me see your IDs. They didn't say why. Now, I could have asked, why you need my ID? But here's the thing. When I heard them say IDs, I thought they meant the ID of the tickets. So at first, my friend showed them her ID. I showed the tickets, and they was like, no, your ID. And I was like, oh, my ID. Okay, got you. So I showed it to them, and they gave me the wristband, and I was like, oh, okay, cool. So I'm thinking these are the wristbands for the GA to let them know that we're GA or whatever. So I didn't think anything of it. But then there was people in front of us. There's people in front of us that didn't have the blue wristbands. So then I'm like, they don't have the blue wristbands. And my friend looks and she's like, you're right, they don't. And I'm like, why do they have X's on their hands? And I'm like, we don't have X's on our hands. And the people that were working with the concert company, they like saw us and passed by us and didn't give us X's. So I'm like, why? And I'm like, but they don't have blue bands though. So I'm like, so why do they have X's and we have blue bands? I'm like, did we miss something? And then my anxiety is just like, oh, so you missed something. So those X's mean something. So you got to get that checked out. You got to see why they got X's and you didn't get an X. But then I was like, but I see other people with blue bands. So that's what calmed me down, because if we were the only ones with blue bands, I would have freaked out. I would have been like, oh, why don't we have blue bands? We should have blue bands. We don't have blue bands. Oh no, this is crazy. Oh my gosh, why do we not have blue bands? So I was kind of stressed. Like, I was stressed out about it. But because I saw other people with the wrist, I was like, okay, we're not the only ones. So I was like, I guess we'll just see what happens. And then to come to find out, I think later on, I found out it was because it was an age thing. So like if you're 21 and over, you get the wristbands, and if you're 21 and if you're under 21, you get the X. So they could know not to serve you a drink, which I'm like, okay. And I get it, but at the same time, I'm like, they could have just asked for, they could have just ID'd you. But I think that's to save the time of asking for IDs when they could just see your wristband. Like, oh, can I see your wristband? And then that's much easier than asking someone to take out their ID. So it made sense. But like once, and then at the time I didn't know, but then once I figured it out, I was like, oh, okay, fine. I didn't get anything to drink anyway because I was like, I want to go home sober. I don't want to go home tipsy or anything. And it's like, I don't want to have to pee. Because once you're in that pit, you're in. You're not going to get in. Like, I didn't want to have to pee. So, yeah. So that was that. So then it's 7 o'clock. We didn't really get in until like around like 7:20. So we got in. And mind you, we got in. We went, and I think my friend did mention something about having to use the bathroom. Or like she wanted to go wash her hands. She wanted to go to the bathroom to wash her hands. But because of how it was like, it felt like it felt like a speed walking like marathon or something. Like people were like trying to sprint, and they was like no running, so you had to speed walk to get it. And then once we got there, I was like, forget the bathroom, just go straight to the freaking area to get seats. Like just go straight, go 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 go. Hold on, I have to check something. Okay, I'm back. I had to fix something. Okay, so what was I saying? I was talking about oh yes. So basically, we're at this place, and we had to I'm like, just go straight to the venue, just go straight to the area where we have seats, so we can pick a spot, and then this way I can go buy merch, because every concert I have to buy merch as a souvenir. So I was like, okay, we're going to find a place to be at, and then I'm going to run to the merch line, get merch as quick as I can, and then come back, and then we'll regroup. And she was like, okay. So we just speed walked right straight into the venue, and then it was pretty cool. Like it was kind of like, it felt like a glow in the dark event, but it wasn't glow in the dark. Well, it kind of was, because some of my colors were like popping up. It was like a neon type color. It was nice. I did enjoy it. It looked nice. And then we went to this area, and then I saw the merch line, and it was like just starting, because we were like the first. Okay, whatever. So we were one of the first ones there. Like there was like a good, I would say like 20 maybe people already there, but like there was still enough space to still be at the front. So then I basically told my friend, stay at this pole, and then I'm gonna go buy merch. That merch line was the quickest merch line I've ever been on. I got in and out in 5 minutes. Like, I'm not even kidding. Because I got there when I first started, where usually I would get there because I got there when the doors first open, whereas if I would have gotten there like around 7 and then gotten in at like close to 8, I would have probably waited a long time. And that's usually what happens. I'll end up getting there around the time that like the concert is about to start, or like loosely when the doors open. Because I know for AJR, I got there when the doors open, but there was so many people there. And the merch line was like long, but it wasn't that bad. The worst merch line I've ever been on was, I think, Rex. That was the worst merch line I've ever been on, because it was a literal mosh pit of people. And my first mistake was waiting until after the concert to get my merch. That was the first mistake, because when I got there, it was a mosh pit of people. And then the people that were working at the venue, there was this girl that was selling specifically black hoodies for Rex. There were 120. Now, see, here's the thing. I say that, I'm like, that's too much money for a hoodie. But if I had YouTube money, and it's like, I want that, I would have bought it, because I would have the money for it. But a person that has no money for that, I was like, 120? No, sir. No, sir. No, sir. You're not getting that money from me. I'm so sorry. I'm buying a shirt, which this is my Rex shirt. But anyway, I should have worn my Wallows shirt, but I just washed it. I did laundry today. Anyway, so, oh yeah, I was talking about Rex. I got sidetracked, but I'll finish talking about Rex. So at this Rex line, I was online, and there was this lady that was just like right next to me that was selling the black hoodies. She basically was like, oh, you guys had to move over. And when she was trying to, mind you, there was like 5 different lines, like there was like 5 different registers for like all the merch. And then there was like one side merch line specifically for black hoodies, and that was it. So they didn't have any like all those things that you would put to notify the people that there are lines and these are the lines you have to go on. None of that. It was literally just a mosh pit of people, and you just come in and out however you can find a way how to. And there was at one point where someone just screamed, and we were all like, I was ready to run, because I was like, we live in a country where someone screams, it's probably a shooting. So I was ready to flee the scene, because I'm like, I'm not dying today. actually like living. So can we not get shot? You know? And anyway, so I was like ready to flee the scene, but it was fine. I don't know why the person screamed, but that they just screamed for whatever reason. So while we were on the line, the lady that was like trying to tell people to move, even though there was no indication of where the line starts and ends, she was like, "This is a space that has to be left open," but there was nothing to indicate that. So then she's trying to push boxes towards us, and I'm at the end where she's trying to say for us to move, and she's like gently pushing me, and I wanted to just be like, "Get off of me! Do not push me!" But I was like, I want the merch. I want the merch. Because if she was like shoving me, I would have turned around, looked at her, and been like, get off me. Get off me. Because you're pissing me off. But I didn't. Because I was like, just. Because I was looking at her. She was like basically pushing me. And I was just like, what are you doing? But anyway. So then. And then other people was just like, there's no indicate. Then they finally put a thing to show where the lines were. And I was like, bro, you should have done it the first time. Y'all would have had more organized lines. It wouldn't be a mosh pit of people. Like, it's not my fault y'all didn't finish y'all didn't do your job properly. And maybe that's not your job. Have it to where the venue has it to where there's lines. Like, indicate where the lines start and end so that we can know where to go. Like, it's not our fault that we're, like, trying to just get on this line. Like, you don't have lines indicating who's where. Like, it's y'all fault that we doing this. So, like, just shut up about it or just make it better so this won't be a problem. Don't push me. That's rude. Anyway, that was the worst merch line I've ever been on. But I got my shirt because I was like, I'm not leaving unless the shirt's sold out. And it wasn't. I got the shirt. I was fine. And I left. That line was 22 minutes long. We waited on the line for 22 minutes. And you want to know how I know? Because after we got on that line, we had to go to get a bag check. Because my two friends, it was raining that day. So we brought I didn't bring an umbrella. I brought my raincoat. But my friends brought umbrellas. And you can't bring them in the venue. So we had to wait another 20 plus minutes to get their umbrellas. I feel so bad. That day, I had my dad waiting for us for like an hour after the concert was over. He came at 10. We didn't leave till 11. I felt so bad. I was just like, I am so sorry. Because it was just such long lines. Like, we literally couldn't. The merch was my fault because I was my other friend did get merch. But, like, I felt so bad. Anyway. But, so that was my worst experience with a merch line. Now, this one, the Wallows, was my best experience because I literally was in 5 minutes because I got there early. So I got my shirt, came back, and then I found another, like, while I was online, I was looking at other areas to where we could stand, and I saw at the corner where the merch line was close to, it was a closer view. It was, like, on the side, because we were, like, my friend was standing, like, more so in the middle, but there was a closer area on the side of the stage where we can be closer and get, like, a better view, obviously. So then, while I'm on this line, I'm on the merch line, like, trying to figure out what to get. But then also, I'm, like, looking at what to get, practicing how to say what I want to get, while also looking at the line to make sure the area that I'm looking at doesn't get taken. And I'm also trying to look for my friend kind of sort of. So I'm like, line, merch, what do I get? Practice it. Line, merch, what do I get? Practice it. Line, like, literally, my mind was ping-ponging between this for like 5 minutes. So then once I got my merch, I was like, thank you, and I just left, and I was looking for my friend, and I found her, and I was like, I think we have a better view for this area. So we went to the area, and I was like, which area is better for you? Because I'm 5'7", my friend's 5'2", so she needs, like, the best area she can get. So she said it was better for her to be at the area that I spotted, so then we stayed there. I was like, okay, cool. So then we're standing there, and this is when the fatigue really hit me, and I was like, I am so tired. Like, I have no food. I haven't had a single meal today. It's 7:35. I've been up since I think like 9 a.m. I'm not thriving right now. And I was like, I need the adrenaline of the concert. Because I know once the concert starts, I'll be fine. But I was like, because I don't have any adrenaline making me run through fumes. I'm running on emptiness. Like, my gas is on E and we are on danger mode. I have a mile left in me. Get to this gas station of adrenaline now. So I was just getting by. And then there was a security that was like around. They were giving out waters, which I never saw happen. Like at HER or Rex, they didn't give out waters. I didn't see them giving out waters. I saw the opener for Rex, like throwing waters to people, but I didn't see them giving out waters. And at HER, we didn't get water. So this one, I was like, oh, that's nice that they're giving us water, because I'm pretty sure they didn't want someone to pass out. So we got waters, and then I'm like, okay, great. But I didn't drink all of it because I was like, if I drink all this water, I'm going to have to pee in like 10 minutes, and then I want to lose the spot. So I was like trying to avoid having to pee. So I drank some, and I felt a little bit better. So then we're waiting. I think around like 8:05. The 8:05, I think, is when the opener started. So 8:05 starts, and then the opener comes. The opener's name was Spill Tab. I did listen to her music before the concert just so I can get an idea of what she sounds like. And I liked like two songs I thought were like really good. And other songs I was like, okay, her music is good. I think there was like two songs in French, and I was like, I don't know French. I took 3 years of French in high school. Je m'appelle Ananda Cash. That's all I know how to say. And that's it. That's it. I hated my French teacher. That's why I didn't process anything. I genuinely disliked her so much. I feel like no one liked her. I think maybe one student liked her or two. Because in my grade, everyone disliked her so much. Because she was so rude. She was this. I'm not gonna get into it. I'm not gonna get into my beef with high school teacher. That's another episode. Anyway, so yeah, so I barely learned French. But what was I saying? Oh yes, there was French song. Like the girl had 2 French songs, and she sung them. And I was like, I don't know what you're singing, but you seem like you're enjoying yourself. So okay. So she did her performance, and of course, 10 minutes in the concert, someone's passed out, and I was like, okay. So someone passed out, and then they're like, oh hey. Like I think ever since, well, actually no. I think to me, I've noticed more that ever since the Travis Scott situation, every single artist is on board. It's on top of making sure that people that pass out get help. But to be fair, people have done it before. Like it's common for people to pass out in pits. I think because of the how close people are, and if you're dehydrated, how close you are, shortness of breath. Because I myself felt sometimes my breath was getting shortened because also with all the people there, it was getting more crowded. I had less space. Like with the AJR, I had some space to move around, jump around. This concert, there was people everywhere, and I barely had space to jump. Like I couldn't even fully dance. Like I kind of feel bad because when I dance, I get violent. Like it looks like I'm trying to hit somebody. It looks like I'm trying to hit somebody. Like whenever there's a song, like there was one song that they ended up playing. It was the last song, and like I want to like they basically when they have the drums, I'm just like because it looks like I'm trying to punch someone. But I'm pretending I'm playing the drums, and it's just, I get violent when it looks like I'm violently dancing, but I'm just dancing because, whatever. Anyway, so I didn't really have space to do that because it was really tight and crowded. So, someone passed out. They got escorted out. They helped them out. It was all good. And after that, it was fine. So, that happened. So then after that, we had to wait like 30 more minutes for them to finish setting up and get the Wallows ready. So, when the concert started, like I said, I was looking forward to this concert for months. Months. Like I would say 2-3 months. Maybe 4. Wherever. I think I missed. Hold on. I forgot what I was saying. So Wallows comes, right? What I also forgot to mention was, like I said, Wallows is my second favorite artist. But also, one of the people in the band, Dylan Minnette, he is one of my favorite actors. He was in the show 13 Reasons Why, but he's also in a bunch of other stuff that I did watch. And so it was like seeing 2 things at once. Seeing one of my favorite actors, but then also seeing my second favorite artist of all time. So it was like a double whammy for me to do. And then once they came on stage, I literally I was like in pure shock. I was like, there's no way. They're there. Like, they're there. But like, they're there. Like, they're right there. I was in shock. I was in disbelief. I was in awe. I literally could not even fathom that I was literally like less than 10 feet away from them. Like, I was in pure shock, and I felt like I was gonna, I don't want to say that. I felt like I was gonna shake. Like, I felt myself shaky. I was like, oh my gosh. I felt myself starting to be overwhelmed. I was like, this is a lot for me to process, but like, I cannot believe I'm here. So they're performing. They're starting to perform. They're performing the songs. I basically know all the songs that they perform, so I'm singing to every single song. And then there was one point where there was a lot of time because of the side that we were on. I say if you're facing the audience this way, we were on the left side of the stage, and the left side is where Dylan was all the time. Like, he was mostly on the left side. So whenever he was trying to come to the audience, he would come on the left side. So he was basically like there. Like, basically if he came to the edge of the stage, I could just like be a few people in front and then reach him. Like, we were really, really close. And he would come over to our side, and I felt like he was gonna look dead at me in the eyes. So every time he came, I like avoided eye contact. I avoided eye contact at all times. I was like, no, no, you're not gonna look at me. Me looking. I was like, because it's crazy. Because I when before the concert happened, I was making posts on my Instagram story, like I'm gonna be so close. I want them to see me see them. But then when I actually was able to have him see me see him, I panicked and I was like, no, don't look at me. No, don't look at me. Don't look at me. Like it was like the first 2, 3 times he came, like the entire concert, he kept coming back over to us, and I was like, I'm stressed. I was like, please don't look at me. That was the first 2, 3 times. But then after that, I was like, no, I want to be able to see him. So after like a few times, it was fine. Now there was a post that throughout their tour, I follow them on social media, so I've been seeing them post on Instagram different videos of them going on tour. So every post they make of them being on tour, I'm just like, oh my gosh, I can't wait for that to be me. And I saw a post where it said for their song Treacherous Doctor, which is basically about them talking about a therapy session. There's a part in the lyrics where one of the artists, there's like two main singers, and then there's a drummer, and then also when they came, there were other people on the stage, and I was like, who are these people? I only knew it as 3 people, the drummer and the 2 singers, and they're also guitarists. Also, Dylan ended up playing drums for one song, and the drummer was singing one song, and I was like, wait, I didn't know you could sing too. Like I felt like he did background vocals, but he sung a whole song, and I was like, wait, was this whole time it was you singing? He was singing the song Quarterback, and I was like, wait, Cole's the drummer. Cole, you sung that. That was you. Amazing. Anyway, so there was 2 other people. That was a guitar, and like I think there was a trumpet. There was like 3 different guys that I knew nothing about. I was like, who are you? Like I'm glad you're here, but like, who are you? I don't know who you are. But anyway, so that happened. And then, so for Treacherous Doctor, I saw a post where basically there's a lyric that's like, oh, I'll switch my eyes for yours. So then with that lyric, because that's the Brendan guy singing the song. If I'm saying his name wrong, I'm so sorry. But the guy singing that song, so Dylan, whenever that's not his part in the song. So basically what he does is that when he says, I'll trade my eyes for yours, he goes to the audience and he looks at them and he's like, I don't know why. It's like halfway intimidating, but also like really cute. Like, oh, he's like interacting with the audience, and I think it's like really nice. But like, it's just so funny. So when I saw the tweet about it, I mean the post about it, and I saw he did it at the concert. Like he went to our side of the stage and was like, "My eyes for yours," and I was like, "Oh, like that's how it felt," and it was like so funny. So the songs kept going, and then so the concert, the experience, the performance was great. And I've noticed that it's a trend for artists to like lie to us. They are the fattest liars. So basically, what they'll do is they'll leave. They'll say this is the last song, they'll leave. And then we're like, encore, encore, or like do more, do more. And they make it seem like they're leaving, but basically all they do is just like I saw someone make a post about it, and it was like basically artists when they pretend to leave, it's like playing peekaboo. Like literally they'll leave for like 2 minutes and come back. Tame Impala did it, AJR did it, Rex did it, and then Wallows did it. I was like, what is up with artists doing that? Like I love it because that means they're coming back and they're giving us more. But I'm just like, why y'all making us pretend like that's it? Like what? Anyway, so at one point they did that, but I'm that's not the part I'm at. Yeah. So the experience of being in the pit was so kind of suffocating, but there was a bunch of people around. So obviously I said this was the tightest space I've ever been in, and the mosh pit for the tour for the merch at Rex, it kind of prepared me for the pit, and it felt like that, but like not someone that's at the freaking thing pushing me. It wasn't that, like I wasn't being pushed, but there was there were the area that I was in specifically, everyone was shorter than me, like everyone, and I felt kind of glad because I could see. So I was seeing over everyone's heads. I felt like everyone in front of me was 5'2". My friend was 5'2". I felt like everyone was 5'2", or like 5 feet to 5'2", no taller than 5'2". I saw over everyone's heads, and that was also with my feelers, which make me like I think 2 inches taller. So I was like 5'9" at this point, seeing over everyone's heads. Now, when there was at one point where I took my shoes off because my feet were hurting so much. I took them off and I was down a little bit, but it wasn't that bad. But then I put my shoes on and I was back to the height of seeing over everyone's heads. So I was like, phew. But there was this guy standing right next to me. Like literally, if I'm like this, the guy was like here, like here. Like he was right next to me, and his hairy arms were just on me. Nothing wrong with hairy arms, but his hairy, I felt the hairs of his arms just on me. And this man, I felt like he could body slam me. He didn't, but like I felt like he could body slam me. Like I felt like I was being gently body slammed, but his body was so close. So that's what was happening. And then I just felt so uncomfortable. I was like, oh my gosh, please, this man is so close to me. But then before that happened, there was these I think like three or four black, like the crowd was pretty diverse. Because usually when I see artists, there's mostly white people sometimes. Like there's a lot of white people and then a few occasional black people, Hispanic, whatever. But I would say Walls was pretty diverse, and there was a group of girls behind me. It was a group of black girls behind me, and they tapped me on the shoulder, and it was like they tapped me one time, and I kind of ignored it because I was like, I don't know if they're trying to tap me or if they're like it was by accident. So I just ignored it. So then they tapped me again. So I looked, and I was like, okay, so they are talking to me. So I looked, and the girl was like, oh my gosh, like I love your hair, and I was like, this is when I had purple and blonde hair. Now I have the black and red because I and then the crazy thing was with my purple and blonde like braids, I got so many compliments off of it, and I was not feeling like when I first did it, I didn't it didn't come out the way I wanted to because I wanted to dye the blonde hair pink, and the dye did not sit on the hair at all. So I had to just do purple and blonde. And I don't like mixing colors when my hair is not the same color as the braid. Like the blonde, my hair that I was basically I have my hair, my natural hair, not my natural hair, my actual hair is two different colors. It's a violet and it's what was supposed to be pink, but it faded and it's just a red. So it's purple and red. So the red was so visible through the blonde. I really hate when you can see where your hair is. I hate it. I hate that so much. So with the blonde, I kind of was having that and I didn't like it, but I need to do my hair. I was sick of I couldn't straighten it, and it's summer. Summer means sweat. Sweat means curls or puffs, and I was like I love my curly hair. Don't get me wrong. I love my curly hair, but I'm in the phase where I'm sick of doing it. I'm sick of my curly hair because if it would just stay the way it comes out in the shower, I would be thriving. I'll be thriving. But it doesn't do that because I have severe shrinkage. I have I think like 4A type hair or whatever, and it pisses me off. It's so annoying having to deal with it every single morning. So it's easy to just put it in braids or have it straight because when I straighten it, that's it. I'm done. Like yeah, I'll bump the end to make it look more cute, but like with braids, I wake up and it's like this. And that's it. So it's just this summer I'm just letting my hair be in braids. I'm not touching it. I don't have to be bothered with it because right now the thought of having to do my hair, I'm like I'm gonna go bald if I have to do my hair another day. That's the moment that I'm in. But I love my curly hair. I want to regurgitate. I want to reiterate that. But yeah. I used the word regurgitate earlier today, and I realized it made no sense. But I was talking about how someone was giving me information I already heard, and I said they just regurgitated what someone else said. And I don't think that's the way how to use it. But whatever, it's fine. So anyway, so I'm very cluttered, but the people and whenever black women give me compliments, I eat it up because it's one thing to get a compliment from anyone, like oh I like your hair, oh thanks. But when it's black people, because they know the struggle of doing hair. They know. So when a black girl gives you a compliment, I eat it up. I eat it up. Like I was like, oh, thank you. And I was just there like, black girls gave me a compliment. Like I eat it up. I eat it up. And they look like around my age, or maybe they were a little bit younger, but I was like, they're so nice. First of all, I'm like, Wallows. Black girls seeing Wallows. Now no one can say that, oh, it's a bunch of white people here. And I'm no, there was four black girls right behind me. Yep, there was four black girls right behind me, and I was with my Mexican friends. So y'all can't say it was white people because it was diverse. It was a very diverse crowd, which I was very like. It was nice to see. So anyway, so we were there, and then now here's what the part where the people in the pit were kind of annoying. So like I said, there was a guy, there was this hairy man that was right next to me. Now mind you, he was actually really nice because there was like times when like other people wanted to get in front of him, and I don't know if he was a dad or if he was a boyfriend. I don't know because he was with some short girl. I don't know who he was to her, but I would assume that was her boy. I don't know. I don't want to assume. But anyway, so I don't know, but there was this man with a girl there. And whenever I think other people wanted to get in front of him, he did let them in front of him because he was the tallest one in the area. So, cause at first when the girls were there giving me compliments, he wasn't there, and then he popped up, and I was like, who is this man right next to me? Like impersonal invasion of space. Like I felt like I was in a cylinder. Like I felt like my body was put in a cylinder, and I couldn't get out until like 11 p.m. Like that's how crowded the pit was. So I had to be like this. A lot of times I literally was like this, holding my water. I was like, this is such an uncomfortable position. I had to just stand here, and I could barely move my arms. So it was crazy. And then this is the part that kind of pissed me off the most. There was these two girls. Now, I'm not gonna blame the short one. The tall one was the idiot in the situation. So basically there was these two girls. I don't know what their relationship was with each other, sisters, best friends, girlfriends, I don't know. But the tall girl was basically there with the short girl and the tall girl. The tall girl was basically telling the short girl to like basically maneuver through the crowd to get a better view. Now here's the thing. There were people coming in and out, like two times people came in and out. And okay. I'm gonna talk to this. So there were people coming in and out. Like there was one guy that later on like left to go to the bathroom, I'm guessing, or left to go do something, and then he's trying to come back in. So it was just like, okay. And then even before the concert started, there was this girl who lost her friend. And she was like, oh, have you seen the girl with a yellow tank top? And we're like, no. So then she was on the phone, like trying to call her friend and trying to like say, hey, where are you? Where are you? And then she was looking for her for like 20 minutes. Like I think eventually she did find her, but she was looking for her for a long time. And I was like, oof, that's concerning. But anyway, so that was that. And then, so that happened. And then okay, before the tall girl, there was these two girls that like basically just kind of just shoved their way in front of my friend. And then my friend was just like, okay. And they were also short too. And it was just like, bro, you didn't even like say excuse me. You just shoved your way through. So that was just annoying. But the worst one was the tall girl and the short girl. So now the tall girl is, I'm guessing the short girl was just trying to get the best view to try to record, because she was just trying to record the concert and have fun. And then the tall girl was like, oh, come this way, like come over here. And just like shoving her through the crowd. And everyone was just looking at her like, what are you doing? Like I wasn't shoved, but they were just shoveling through a crowd. And then they stood right in front of this short girl. And when I tell you, she looked so smushed. She was just there like, and I was just looking like, I was just in disbelief. I was like, that is crazy that they're doing that. That is so annoying. And then we were just looking at each other. Like I was looking at my friend, and me and my friend were looking at the girl like, bro, I'm so sorry. Like this is happening. This is so annoying. Because it was just like, as much as you would want to say something, it's kind of inevitable in the pit for that to happen. So it was just like, you kind of like, she was able to move over, like I did find some space, and I moved over, and then we moved over, so she was fine. But it was just like so annoying that that tall girl did that, and they kept like moving over, and the tall girl kept like tiptoeing, but then she also kept like, she was like, and I think it was like later on, and at first she was very annoying, but then I think I realized, I'm like, she might be like a teenager, and just this might be her first, she might be a teenager who's really excited to go to a concert, or this might be her first concert ever, or she might be a huge fan of Wallows like we are, so she's just really hyper excited. So then because I think at one point she kind of got in front of me, but not like, she was like in front of me, but like on the side of me, like she was basically right here. So I saw how excited and jumpy she was, and I was like, okay, maybe she's just really excited, and like the friend or whoever the girl was trying to help her out to get a view, because the tall girl was just vibing, but the short girl was a girl that was like trying to record and jumping and screaming. So I was like, okay, maybe she was just doing that just so that she could get a good view. So I was like, you know what? All right, whatever. But it was still annoying that it happened. But I was like, you know what? Whatever. She was probably just really excited. So I didn't blame the short girl, because the short girl was just like a bystander just trying to get a good view. The tall girl, because my thing was she didn't say excuse me. She was just pushing through people with no like, excuse me, sorry, excuse me, sorry, excuse me. She just pushed through people and was like, oh, come on, it's fine. And it's like, bro, no, say excuse me, have manners. And then she was standing in front of short people. I'm like, bro, you're like 5'9", standing in front of a 5-foot girl. Have some decency. Like that was the part that got me annoyed, because it's like, if I saw a girl that was shorter than me, I wouldn't deliberately get in front of her. But whatever. So anyway, so that happened. And then there was the last thing that happened that was like kind of annoying. There was these people that were like, I would say two rows of people in front of me. They had a sign. And I don't know what the sign said, but they had a sign up. And when they put the sign up, we could not see. So then there was people screaming behind me, put the sign down! Put the sign down! And at one point I was screaming too. I was like, put the sign down. Like, I can't see. So they had the sign, and it was towards the end of the concert. And we were like, put the sign down! Put the sign down! Like, people were mad. They were yelling at them. And then, like, I think in like a minute they had to put it down. Like 10 minutes later, they put it back up. Put the sign down! It was chaotic. They put the sign down, and then the concert went on, and then I was hoping for like one song for them to play, and it was "I'm Full," and that was the last song they played, and I was like, yes. And the one thing I was kind of mad about was there's a part of the song when the guy's singing "All right," and then it just like the drum starts going off. I could not fully dance with the way I wanted to because I was in such a tight space, and I didn't want to. I told you I danced violently. I didn't want to punch someone in the head because I would be like this. And it looks like I'm going to swing at someone in the front and in the back of me because I have long arms. So I couldn't dance the way I wanted to. And I was kind of sad about it, but it's okay. But the concert was over and I was like, what the heck? It lasted like an hour. I would say an hour and a half. Like the Wallows performing. Overall, it was a great experience. I had so much fun. And then I had to process. It took me like a good I would say 1 to 2 weeks to fully process that it happened. And then like now that like I still follow them on social media, so like I see them, they're still on tour. So whenever I see them performing, I'm like, oh man, I kind of missed that. And then the other day, like 2 days ago, a YouTuber that I watched, his name is Curtis Connor. He's Canadian, and I think he lives in Toronto. He knows the Wallows. He knows them. Like, he's friends with them. He was on stage when they went to Canada like 2 days ago, I think. They had a tour in Toronto. And then he was on stage with them, singing with them. And I was like, since when does Curtis know the Wallows? Like, I was baffled. Bamboozled. I was so like, of course Curtis Connor would know Wallows. And he would be in Canada and he would go on stage for them to see it. And I wasn't there. Like, I felt such FOMO. I was like, I wish. Why couldn't Curtis be in New York and that he was on stage in New York? I would have loved to see that. But I'm like, you know what? It's okay. Like, the fact that I saw videos and it was cool. And I was like, oh, I wish I could have saw that. I felt FOMO, but it was fine. But yeah. And I love Wallows even more because I'm like, I love it when people that like I know, like when I see two YouTubers that I know, like me, like also AJR, one of their childhood best friends is this actor that I like I started to like a lot. Like his name is Alex something. But he's like their childhood best friend. And I was like, since when? Like the world is so big, but the world is so small. How does everyone I know and I like know each other? I love it though. I love it. But I'm just like, how? That was the end of the concert, and then we had to leave. Then after that, me and my friend, we got pizza because we were starving. That was the only meal we had that day. And then basically at the end of the day, we were standing up for like 6 hours straight. Besides the 20 minutes that we sat down on the dirt, when we stood up, we basically were standing up for 6 hours with no food in our system, with like a few sips of water, and I had one granola bar, a few sips of coffee, and some water, like a quarter of water, and I was standing up for 6 hours straight. Had to take a little break. My brother had to be in the room for some reason. But yeah, so the concert was great. I had a fantastic time. And then I had to process the concert being over. And I realized this with AJR. Like, once I saw AJR, I kind of felt bad for not, like, feeling like, oh my gosh, it was so awesome. Because seeing AJR in concert is an experience. Like, it's more than just people seeing them perform their songs. It's like, you're watching a live movie. And I loved it about them. But then it hit me like days later after the concert was over how much I really realized that I loved the concert. And then I was like I was experiencing extreme PCD. I feel like I was getting the PCD hit me like delayed, like 3 days later, and I had to like watch a bunch of AJR like videos and stuff just to feel like I'm at a concert again. And I was like, oh my gosh, I'm so emotional that I'm not at a concert anymore. I'm like, take me back, because I felt bad that I didn't miss the concert automatically, but then the PCD hit me later, and I was like, oh, okay, yeah, I'm feeling it now. You feel it now, Mr. Krabs? I'm feeling it now. So I kind of felt the same with Wallows, but I've never felt so tired in my entire life after a concert. That concert took me out. It took me out. I was dead the next day. Like the next day, I was so tired. My legs felt like literal spaghetti noodles. Like I could not function. I could not even walk properly. I was so tired. So that was a lot to deal with. And then it took me like, cause then all after that, like literally that week, I had to like keep walking around. So I was just dead for the next week. Next 2 weeks, I had to recover. But yeah, so that was my Wallows experience. That was my also experience being in a pit, like a borderline mosh pit for the first time. And it was great. Wallows was literally a 10 out of 10. They played all my favorite songs. The I'm Full song was a song I was really looking forward to. And they play, like at first I was like, oh, they didn't play it. And then they started playing I'm Full and I was like, yes. Because that was a song that I recently discovered from like, that was their first album. Nothing happens, and I never heard the song before. So then when I was listening to like their music to prepare, I'm telling you, I was waiting for this concert for months. I was preparing myself months in advance to listen to all their songs so I could know their songs, so I can sing it when I'm at the concert. So one of some of the songs that I came upon was what do you like, and I'm Full. And I listened to those two songs and I was like, how did I not know these songs existed? It's the same with Rex. Like after his concert, I heard the songs It Gets Better and 10. Well, 10 out of 10, I knew that song. But that 10 out of 10 and It Gets Better, for me personally, at the stage of life that I am in right now, they hit. They hit real different. They really do. Um, they really hit different now. So, but yeah, so with Wallows, I'm Full and What Do You Like? They didn't perform What Do You Like, but they did perform Full, and when they performed it as a last song to close the concert, it just felt like the beautiful ending. And then I was so sad it was over, but my legs were like jello. I was so exhausted. But yeah, so that was a concert. I had a great time. Like I'm definitely, first of all, we both, my roommate. I wish she would have came, but she was busy. I don't think she listened to Walls. Anyway, whatever. I'm beside the point. Um, so it was great. And me and my friend were like, next time we go see them, we're gonna get VIP because we want to be able to get in earlier so we don't have to stand for like 2 hours straight. Because if anything, we could have went in early and then gotten our merch and stuff and just sat down. Like yeah, it would be a floor, but at least I get to sit. Because I was like, I'm gonna sit down, and I couldn't sit down because there were so many people. But like I would have been able to at least sit down, and people would have to stand around me. Like I know that when I stand up, I'll have a space. So like next time we're gonna get early access, and it'll be fine. I think we spent like $50 for those tickets, so not expensive. Those are the cheapest tickets we bought this year, the cheapest ones, and the most expensive ones we haven't bought yet. We're gonna buy those soon. But I'm going to another concert in August. We're going to another one. This is the last one that I know about. It's one that I really been wanting to go to. And I think I mentioned in a few other podcasts that the 21 Pilots concert, we're going. I asked her if she wanted to come with me, and she said yes. So we just have to buy the tickets. So, but we're going, and it's gonna be another pit situation. But now that we've had a true pit situation, we're prepared. Like I think the AJR was like a pit but outside, so it really wasn't that bad. But Terminal 5, that pit, an inside pit hits different than outside because outside there's air circulating, so you're cool, you're calm. But when you're indoors, there's no air, and the AC was cold earlier, and then once the concert started, it was so hot. I felt like I was in a basement. I felt like I was at a frat party. My freshman year college semester, when I was going to frat parties, I felt like I was in the basement of a frat house. That's what it felt like. That's how hot it was. Now, if you know, you know. Those them suckers be hot. It felt like that, and I was like, bro, it is so hot. But anyway, so now we know for next time we're gonna get pit tickets for 21 Pilots, and it's gonna be at the Barclays Center. Anyway, I'm gonna go to one more concert, and then after that, the world's my oyster. Like I know from now on, I'm just like going to concerts is my thing. I love concerts; they're so fun, and I want to go. I didn't get to go to Governor's Ball this year, and I was really bummed about it because it was, first of all, it was on the weekend of my birthday, which I didn't know until like a month ago. But then on Sunday, J. Cole was performing. Oh, J. Cole was performing, and I couldn't go. Oh, I could cry. I could cry. I'm not going to, but I could cry. I was so, I'm not gonna lie. I was like 50% really pissed that I couldn't go. I was so bummed. I'm like, I can't see J. Cole perform. He's gonna be in New York and I can't go. I was so mad. I was kind of pissed about it, but it's okay. It's okay. I'll have another time. I'll have another time. But I feel like a J. Cole concert would be kind of weird because I don't know the audience. Because the audience is like 20-year-olds, but also people my dad's age, which there's nothing wrong with. But like being around a bunch of older men is weird. It's weird. So anyway, um, yeah, so I didn't get to go to that, so I was really bummed out about it. But next year, depending on who performs, I do want to go to Governor's Ball because that'll be my first festival. I've never been to a festival. So I've been to my first time going to a concert. I was 19, seeing AJR. Now I'm 23, and I've been to 4 concerts so far this year. I'm gonna go to a fifth one, and then now I want to keep going to concerts, but also I want to start going to festivals because I want to go to Coachella so bad. I've been saying this since high school. I want to go to Coachella so bad. And I know it's hectic and it's crazy and it's crowded, but I still want to experience it. I do. I do. I'm not going to lie. It's expensive though. When I have that YouTube or that writer or that filmmaker's money, I'm going to go to Coachella. And I have friends with me. I'm going to like pay for them too, or they'll have money too, and we'll be able to all go and we'll have a great time. And also, Wallows was performing at Coachella this year, and I was really bummed I couldn't go. But I was like, it's okay. I'll see them in June. But I think they performed there in like, I think February. I don't know when they performed, but they went to Coachella, and I was really bummed. They went in April. I was pretty bummed I couldn't go because they went to both weekends, and I was like, I couldn't see them live at Coachella. I was so bummed. But anyway, it's fine. I saw them live anyway, so I was pretty happy about it. But yeah, so I'm done. I'm done talking about the experience. It was great. I love the Wallows. They had a pop-up shop. I wanted to go, but I ended up not going. But it's okay. So they'll have another pop-up shop in New York. They say New York is like their second home, which I love. I love that. Anyway, so that's it. Wallows, if so somehow you see this video, I love you guys. You guys are amazing. Keep making your good music because I'm going to continue to jam to it because their music slaps. Yeah, so that's it. I hope you guys enjoyed hearing me talk about my experience. I might make a episode about 21 Pilots. Ugh. I didn't make a video about, I mean, episode about Rex or AJR because nothing really happened. I just enjoyed the experience. Like, I just enjoyed it. Like, they were both really fun. And I feel like with Rex, basically, I was able to say I could check off Dancing in the Rain off my bucket list if I had a bucket list. I could just check it out because I danced in the rain for Rex. But I had my hair straight and it was raining. Damn, my throat. Oh man, my throat's really dry from talking so long. Oh my gosh, I'm trying to end this. Oh yes. I'm not gonna throw up. My throat's just really dry. Okay, we're gonna try to finish this. But yeah, Rex, I had my hair was straight, but then it rained, so I had to have a hood on this entire time. So my outfit, I slayed and I couldn't even show it. But anyway, I looked like an egg the entire time, but I still had fun. Anyway, so I didn't make videos, I didn't make a podcast episode about those 2 concerts because I just experienced it and it was fun. I posted it about it on Instagram. I'll make a post about it on Wallows because the reason why I haven't talked about, like, I did Instagram stories about me being at Wallows concert, but I didn't make a post about it because I knew I wanted to make a podcast episode about it because of all the events that happened at that concert, which is too funny to not make a podcast about. So yeah, so hopefully for 21 Pilots I'll have a great experience and I'll have stories to tell. Yeah, so that is it for today's episode. I hope you guys enjoyed hearing me talk about my experience, and God willing I can go to many more concerts in the near future. So yeah, so thank you guys so much for listening, and if you did like this podcast episode, if you're watching the video version of it, please hit the subscribe button. I meant to say hit the like button, but subscribe to my YouTube channel because I post the podcast video versions of it on my YouTube channel. But you can like the video, subscribe to my YouTube channel so you can be updated on all my podcast video portions, video versions of the podcast, but also my regular YouTube videos as well. I have been having a whole cluster about what type of content to post on my channel. I've been debating short films. I've been debating music videos, like ASL music videos or just music videos, and just video essays. I have so much content that I can come up with. It's so complicated. So I was kind of in a funk about it because for the past 3 weeks, I haven't posted anything. Well, the past month, basically, I haven't posted anything on my YouTube channel. And that's because I was busy the first 3 weeks. Every single weekend, the past 3 weekends of the first 3 weekends of June, I was busy. The first weekend I had to go to events for my church. The second weekend was my birthday weekend, and then the third weekend I I had another church event to go to. So I was pretty busy the first 3 weeks of June, and then last week was the first full week that I had nothing planned. And I was beat. I was really tired and exhausted. So I had to just lay and rest. But then I felt bad that I didn't post anything for the past month, and I felt pretty emo about it. But then I was emo for like 2 days about it, and then I was brainstorming, got new ideas, and now I think I'm going to start posting video essays because I feel like that is like it's basically a podcast, but it's a video essay. Like it's basically a podcast, but it's not a it's not labeled as a podcast. And I was debating about what type of topics to talk about and all that stuff. And one of the YouTubers that I watch, her name is Nicole Raffi, she started doing video essays. And I see people do video essays too, and I've always been interested in like I see them. And then I feel like that's the content that I feel like fits me best because I talk a lot. Because like I have a podcast to like, talk about, stuff like movies and TV shows and whatever I want to talk about. But I feel like sometimes like there are some things that I want to make specifically as a YouTube video, but because it's like 30 plus minutes long, no one's gonna want to watch it. So I really like I can't really fully express and talk about everything I want to talk about with topics because they're so long of a video. But with video essays, it's okay for them to be like an hour long. Like it's justified. Like and recently I've seen that there was this guy who did like a whole show. Oh, okay, a whole thing of about the show Glee. Like he was talking about the whole 6 seasons of Glee. I've never watched this show, but I watched that video and they were each like 2 hours long. And I watched them and they were pretty interesting. And those were like his most popular videos of on his channel. So it's pretty evident that if you have long content, it's not the fact that people don't want to watch, it's that people just haven't seen something that they want to watch in long form on YouTube. Because YouTube is meant to be like 10 to 30 minutes max. So I felt like I couldn't put everything I want to say in 30 minutes because I have so much to say. And it's also a problem I have in general because even in like essays and like short stories and scripts, if I had to write a short script, I have such a hard problem condensing everything I want to say into one thing, into like 15 pages, into like 15 minutes, into like 10 pages. It's difficult for me to do in all factors of my life, which I realize. It's probably because I have a lot to say and I don't know. But anyway, so now I'm rambling. But yeah, so I was kind of conflicted about what type of content to post. And I was thinking about it and I was like, God, I don't know what to do. Like, and then I had the occasional spiral of like, oh, should I even be like trying to be creative? Because now it's been officially a year since I've graduated college. And I'm still in grad school, but like it's been a year since I graduated college and I haven't really found a job in my field yet. So I'm like, okay, I hit the year mark. Now what? Like, and it's only been 1 year. Like, there's still more opportunities. And also, I think I kind of forgot that all the people that, like, I look up to and admire that are creative and are making a career out of their passion, they didn't even get famous until they were in their, like, mid-20s. Like, John Krasinski, Matthew Gray Gubler, two men that I adore. They didn't get their roles. Like, John Krasinski, known for being Jim in The Office. He got that role at the age of 25. Matthew Gray Gubler got his role as Spencer Reed in Criminal Minds, also was 25. They became famous because of those roles that they didn't get to the age of 25. So I'm only 23, so it's like I have more time. So I was like, do I have to wait till I'm 25 to get my major thing? I don't know. But then it's like I'm at that point where I'm like, okay, like it's been a year, but I need money. Like there's so many things that I want to do and I can't do them because I don't have money. But here's my dilemma. Here's the spiral that I end up going in. It's a loop. It's a loop of things. So I have no job. So no job means I don't make money. No money means I can't hang out with friends. So I'm like, okay, so I want to make money so that way I can hang out with my friends. But then let's say I get a job. I get a part-time job at a retail store or whatever. So I get the job because I wanted to have money so that way I can hang out with my friends. But because I have a job, now I don't have time to hang out with my friends. So the money that I'm making is pointless because the point of the money was to hang out with my friends, but I can't hang out with my friends because I have no time. So then if I quit the job, now I have time to hang out with my friends, but now I have no money again. It is an endless loop, triangle, circle, whatever you want to call it. It is an endless cycle of I want money, but I want to be able to have a schedule to where I have money, but I have my own schedule so I can still hang out with my friends and be able to work at the same time. And that's the best job for that is literally YouTube or working at home or whatever. YouTube is the best option. So I'm like, God, can you make YouTube make income for me? I hope I'm ready for it. But yeah, so I'm just at that stage in my life right now where I'm like, okay, I'm just looking for a job. And I'm looking for like, I'm like, okay, I'll be down to do a retail job if it's like a bookstore, or if it's like Like if it's something that I could still be interested in, because my fear was getting a job that I'll be stuck at. That like I get this job, now I'm making money, I'm becoming financially independent, and then let's say I move out and I depend on that job to pay bills. Now I depend on that job to pay bills, but now I have no time to do my creative projects, which is the main goal in my life, to have a career in writing, screenwriting, and filmmaking. And I can't do that because I'm too busy working my 9 to 5 job to help me pay rent. But now I can't quit that job because I had to pay rent. So that's the cycle that I feel like I never want to get stuck in. And it's just like, okay, but how do I make money that I it's in my passion? So it's just with me, I'm in the beginning stages of my career. And the beginning stages is just having to wait. I'm in the waiting period. And it sucks because, sometimes you want to do these things, you want to have these adventures, you want to go out with your friends, but you can't because you don't have money to. But it's like I would rather have no job and be able to have time for my passion than have a job and be miserable, because I know what it's like to be mentally miserable and it sucks. I hated it. I don't want to have to go back to that. So it's like I don't want to be mentally miserable because that sucks. So I'm just in a waiting period of my life where I'm just trying to figure out life and content to create and all that stuff. So that's also another, I would say, the last week of why I kind of been like in a, not in a rut, but it was just like I didn't know what to post on my channel. But that wasn't the main reason, was because I was just so busy. So I didn't have time to edit. Like I had all these videos, like I filmed videos, but I didn't like those videos. So I ended up not posting them. And then I was busy, so I didn't have time to even film anything because I was just go, go, go. It's either go, go, go or do homework. So I was pretty busy. So that's also why I didn't post anything on my YouTube channel for like a month. Um, yeah. So, yeah. So upcoming like weeks, next few months, I'm gonna be posting like a combination of video essays, short films, music videos, and also podcasts, because I do miss my podcast. And I also miss making like normal videos, like vlogs and stuff like that. And I stopped making them, not because I didn't like them anymore, but because they weren't getting views. And I felt like it was pointless to not to post them, even though I didn't get views for them. But then when I look back on my old videos of like my rants and all my other videos and the editing I did, I'm like, I miss that. I miss making videos like that. Like they were so fun. Like they didn't perform well, and that's why I stopped. Not because I didn't like them. It's because they didn't give me the results I was expecting, so I just gave up on them. And it's like I should go back to it. So these are just the ups and downs of being of content creation, where it's like you want to show people your passion, but then when people don't receive it the way you want them to, it's kind of like discouraging. So, but then you just gotta keep going. So it's just like the little ups and downs, but I'll find my niche, because I know I was told that I'm gonna be something great. So I'm just gonna keep on trusting God that it'll happen. It's not my time, it's His time. So like it's normal to like have these, you know, oh, what am I gonna do? Because I also feel like, because I'm a Christian, I've had a lot of people be like, oh, like it's very typical to like when you express that like you're just like confused, or you're in a confused era, or you're like, oh, I don't know about this. People like get mad that you have doubts. And it's like, don't be doubtful because you're doubting God. It's like, I'm not doubting God. I'm just like, okay, God, what's going on? Like, I'm just like trying to figure out what's going on. Like, God knows that I'm not doing it to doubt Him. I'm just doing it because I'm like, okay, this is just a part of life, where it's just like you're just in a different period that I've never been in before, so it's new to me. So I'm just trying to explore it and figure it out. And I feel like a lot of Christians penalize other people for expressing that opinion, because they're like, oh, just don't be afraid and just follow Him, and it's not blah blah. And it's like, He didn't have that advice with every person that He like prophesied to. Like literally, this is me going into religion, and I'm not mad about it, because I would do like a different like episode about like specifically about Christians giving misinformation and just like misguiding, especially young adults, with like advice about going to God for like help and stuff. Because I remember when I was reading, like I'm trying to do this thing where I read the Bible 1 year. So while I'm reading, I read the story of Gideon. And if you don't know who Gideon is, I can't really explain specifically what he did, but if I'm incorrect, kindly, kindly correct me in the comments, or just don't say anything, because if you're gonna be rude, I'm blocking you. I am. So basically, Gideon was one of the prophets that basically God assigned him to do something to help save people, so he did it. But with Gideon, I noticed with every prophet, he would tell them, don't be afraid, do it, because I'm the one that's giving you the power to do so. And they're like, okay, cool, God, I got it. And then they did do it. With Gideon, he asked God for like 3 different signs. No, he asked God for 3 different signs, but then he got 4 signs. He asked for God for 3 different signs to show, if this is what you want me to do, can you do this? Okay, I know you did this, but like, can you do this too? Okay, I know you did this, but can you do this too? And God every time did it with no problem. He was like, all right, this is the first time you asked for. Then Gideon's like, okay, can you do another one? Just to make sure. And then God's like, all right, I got you. I'll do it again. And then Gideon's like, okay, I know you did two, but can you do just one more? And God's like, all right, I got you. And he did it again. And every time he did it with ease and with patience and with love because God knew that Gideon wasn't doubting God. He just knew that to me, it looked like Gideon just had anxiety and he was just like, I don't know, like I'm kind of scared. So God's like, it's okay, I got you. I'm going to show you that it's me that's telling you to do this and not the devil, not anyone else. So he gave Gideon three signs. And then God, after the three signs, he was like, I gave you my three signs. And if you are still afraid, I'm going to give you one more to show you that this is from me. And after you see that, like, he's like, if you are still insecure, if you're still not sure about whether or not you should do this, go to this place and you'll see this happen. And when you see that happen, then you know it's from me. So Gideon went to the place because he's like, all right, I'm going to just go check this one more time. And he went, he checked, and he did what God told him to do. And not one time did Gideon tell him, did he tell Gideon, I told you not to be afraid of me. Why are you scared of me? Why are you doubting me? Like, never once did he condemn Gideon for being afraid. He knew he was afraid, but he's like, oh, but even if you are, like, if you are afraid, here, I will show you this thing. Because basically, he knew that Gideon was scared, but Gideon was like, I'm scared. Like, can you help me? Like, Gideon was asking for help in his fear. And that's what God wants us to do. And I feel like a lot of times when we go to other Christians saying, hey, I'm scared about this, they tell you go to God, but in a rude way. They're like, oh, just go to God. Like, why are you doubting him? Like, who are you to doubt him? This is not blah, blah, blah. And it's like I get the intent is like yes, the Bible says not to fear God, but the way how you're approaching telling them not to fear God is not helping them, it's actually hurting them. And the advice that is the scriptures that are you're supposed to give to help heal them is actually burning them in the process, and it's making them have trust issues. And I've seen a lot of that with different Christians, you know? So I just feel like, and it's like, I don't know. So I just went on that little ramble about it. But yeah, so I just feel like currently I've been constantly like sometimes whenever I feel down, I'm like, all right, God, I don't know if I should do this anymore. Should I keep this? Sometimes basically the whole point that's what saying I feel like Gideon sometimes where I'm going through my life and I'm just like, okay, I don't know what to do. Like every time when I feel like giving up on YouTube, I said this before in a few episodes, I keep on saying it. But every now and then I sometimes get discouraged with YouTube because I don't make money off of it. And I've been doing it for almost 4 years now and I don't even have 100 subscribers yet. So I'm like, okay, God, should I even be doing this anymore? Like, this looks like it's pointless. And every time when I thought about giving up, literally a day or two later, I'll get 10 more ideas of like what YouTube videos to do. I'll kind of forget that I was even doubting doing YouTube, and I would just be encouraged and get more ideas. And I'm like, all right, that's cool. And I'll just keep doing it. So it's a cycle of it. And it happened a few times. And every time when I get doubtful, I'm just like running to God. I'm like, God, I don't know what to do. Help me. So it's like I do run to God and asking for help, but it's like I feel like I can't even acknowledge that I'm scared because when I acknowledge that I'm scared, I get yelled at for being scared. Like I get yelled at for having an emotion. Like it's weird. And that's not even just Christians. Also, I've had that happen. I'm not gonna get into that. So yeah. So yeah, so that was my little rant about that. I am done talking. Cause I will just keep talking about random stuff, and this will be pointless of the whole podcast. So yes, like I said, that is it for today's episode. I hope you guys enjoy, and if you did, please smash the thumbs up button and subscribe to my YouTube channel so you can be updated on my video versions of my podcast and also my YouTube channels, my YouTube videos as well. You can follow the Instagram to the podcast. It's just Randonchatswana, and if you are listening to this on Spotify, Apple, Anchor, you can rate it a 5-star. Please give it a 5-star rating or whatever rating you feel like it should be needed. Give it a rating on Spotify, Anchor, Apple Podcast because it really helps with the algorithm, helps show people that they watch it, that you listen to it, and it'll help me get to a bigger platform and a bigger audience that God will prepare me for. So yeah, and if you want to follow my other social medias, my TikTok and Instagram are just at Ananda Cash, and my Twitter is joyful_cash. And yeah, that's it for today's video. That's it for today's podcast. And I will see you, and you will hear from me next week. Bye.